Japanese did with their lettuce. Do you ever see those little greenhouses?
They turned into square watermelons?
No, those are fun too.
Yeah, what do they do with their lettuce?
They have them in these, I don't think they're growing them in earth anymore. It's all hydroponic, but they're on these like rotating, almost like a slow-moving blade. So yeah, two blades moving in sync. So all these, as it rotates, it's maximizing sunlight. So you're getting these huge,
like a rotisserie chicken?
Yeah, but like huge sheets of lettuce.
Whoa! You mean like the lettuce leaf gets significantly bigger?
But like there would be like a ply bar of just like lettuce plants, and it produces an extremely large amount. But you have very little space in which you're doing it, so they're pushing out huge amounts of lettuce, very, very cheaply, very efficiently. And it's
you mean just a hydroponics? Like they're using hydroponics. They're not using earth at all.
Exactly. And they're just rotating it.
Yeah.
And it's I can't remember. Well, I don't remember any of the numbers.
No, I've seen some of those hydroponic operations, and they're incredible on what they can. But it shows you also just how. I mean, I wonder what you're getting out of that lettuce. I mean, that must be pretty icebergy.
Yes, it is. But there's still nutrition within it. And
I guess they must be able to pump it in somewhere, but it's like nutrients in the water and things.
Yeah.
And it's just so fast because you don't have any earth, and you get that great object at the end. You get one of those nice heads in that unnecessary jeweled plastic case that has the little, top knot of the roots at the bottom. Yeah, it's a pretty decent product, and indoor growing and hydroponic growing is not crazy.
No,
it's actually quite a clever thing, especially for real estate, for like land area. But it's very energy. It takes a lot of energy. And
fake meat's coming up though.
Yeah, fake meat too. Yeah.
And you're right.
I like it all. I think as long as we're very aware of all the costs that go into it. One of the craziest things that we do is we just subsidize everything with energy, and that's fine because energy is really versatile and very useful. But we have to keep in mind that we're getting all of that energy by pumping a bunch of dirty coal into the air. So it's I end up with mixed feelings. I think it is the solution, hydroponic growing or indoor growing, being able to, and also we should just continue to grow outside too. But yeah, I can see that. It's just so important to not lose sight of the fact that you're accommodating a lot of that just by subsidizing with energy. And if that energy turns into CO2, then you're not reflecting the true cost of that, and it's going to come back and bite us.
I wholeheartedly agree. Isn't it kind of part of what it is to move forward, is to make these kinds of, I take cars for an example.
Yeah.
We didn't get to these energy efficient cars today at the rate we should have, considering the damage we did. But almost every single industry is going to be doing that. We got to put in all this energy at the front end so that we can figure out how we can not do it at the back end.
Definitely true. Yeah, and developing things is not easy, and we're not entitled to them. One of the things that we sort of underestimate is how much we do not. Where there is, the only thing that gets us to future technology is our own effort and intelligence towards it. There's nothing for which we are entitled. There's nothing that naturally happens. So there's no guarantee that technology comes and saves us on any of this. However, that is how technology works. You have to develop technology before you can use it, which means you have to put in the hard yards, and that's expensive. And one of the ways it's most commonly expensive is whatever resource you have most available to use, and that's usually oil power. And so it's going to take a lot of that to do it. We just have to always be mindful of that. Sometimes we think of these things like a transaction, like, okay, well, here Earth, so I'm going to use a bit more carbon, but that's going to let me get to a carbon neutral technology that will eventually let me live on you for forever and ever.
Sure.
And we love to anthropomorphize the Earth in terms of what it can take and what it will give back, etc., etc. But the Earth don't give a fuck. It's not trying to do anything. So we keep negotiating with ourselves and then setting good terms for ourselves and then getting frustrated. We keep setting arrangements and agreements with our future selves, not with the future Earth, with our future selves. And then we come to those future selves, and we always give ourselves a great present deal. And and then we end up as those future selves, and we're like, those guys were assholes. How did they take all of our stuff? And it's because the future selves are completely disenfranchised and underrepresented or unrepresented, and well, except by the present self, and the present self is very willing to spend the future self's lifestyle in favor, and that's a gamble. Sometimes that works. Sometimes you get a good technology like a cleaner car. Sometimes you don't. But
and all these innovations, but not all of them, they do have intention behind them. We always want to live easier. Do you find the story, the anecdote we find with a lot of these inventions is, and then I stumbled upon it accidentally. And that really just is like, well, we have a lot of authorship in the world, but like, we're just bumbling through this. We just happen to brute forcing anything by just happening to be Dungeons and Dragons. I'm gonna take a 20 on this.
Yeah.
Fast forward 50 years later, or 50 generations later, like, oh, right, there it is, the answer to that previously unknown.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's you mean like penicillin, like that, how it's or that almost all that there's a great T-shirt or slogan somewhere that says that scientists don't say eureka, they say, geez, that's weird.
Well,
and it's great because that we also have to. It is concerted effort, and it's regular, constant concerted effort, and that luck is about exposure. So it's your fortuitous luck in those situations has a lot to do with the front loading that you do of exposing yourself to possibilities for fortuitous luck. One of the things that we always forget about is that there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to drive this whole drive and nobody's going to drive directly into me. But for me to have that fortuitous luck, which it has a real luck component, I gotta stay between these lines on this road, and I gotta, there's specific things I have to do with my foot on that pedal, and I've got to hold on to this wheel pretty well near the whole time. And if I don't do any of those things, then that luck sure doesn't show up very much, right? I go off the road almost instantly in all of those situations if I don't do one of those things, or all of those things. So I think there is a combination of it, and that's where I feel like that's why I feel like we have to make a continual concerted effort to constantly try to understand the world that we don't know better, and then at the same time be extremely cautious on how confident and zealous we get over our own certainty of that future. Because what we really start to do is we start to get very tempted by the assurance of it, and then we start to try to grab on and to dominate it, and that breaks our attention and loses our focus, and that's I don't know why I'm saying that would
Because it broke your focus.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Something about this topic of broken focus. I can never get to the end of it. Anyways.
Bicycles.
Yeah.